We will call to order the city council meeting for Thursday, January 30th. And rise for the invocation. Lord, we pray for wisdom. May we listen deeply with our daily invitation to share our talents with creativity, strengthen and guide us so that we can be productive, effective, and decisive. May we generously serve our community as courageous leaders and compassionate neighbors. May we open our minds to discover new opportunities to boldly strive for life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Item number 3 on the agenda tonight, approval of city council meeting minutes dated January 16th, 2025. Have a motion?
Second.
Mrs. Frank?
Mr. Allison,
Yes.
Mr. Mackey,
Yes.
Mrs. Katz,
Yes.
Ms. Mealy,
Yes.
Mr. Ryder.
Yes. Motion passes 5-0. Limited courtesy of the floor. We've had no requests tonight. We will move on then to the special events at the James V. Brown Library Review. And we have the director of the James V. Brown Library here this evening.
Good evening. Can you hear me okay? Okay, perfect. So thank you so much for giving me a few minutes of time on the agenda this evening. I'm Amy Resch. I'm the Chief Executive Officer and Director of the James V. Brown Library. And since its establishment in 1907, the James V. Brown Library has been a cornerstone of knowledge and entertainment dedicated to serving and enriching the lives of Williamsport residents. And in recent years, one of the things that we have been finding more and more is that the library has also become a vital hub for technology access in our community. As many of you know, as many as 20% of Lycoming County residents do not have home internet for a multitude of reasons, anything from access to financial hardships. And in 2024, our public access computers were used for 9,058 sessions. Sessions are 3 hours in length, and patrons can request that they get more time on those computers. We are frequently one of the only places in town where there's low-cost printing, scanning, and faxing services. And as you know, we're very close by, which is very convenient for a lot of residents. And our central location affords people access to our plentiful programs. And we do love paper at the library. So I do have some pamphlets with me, and I did give them all ready to the council members. On the last 2 pages, I can show you the programs that we have, and I'll show people in the audience too. This is some of the programs that the library holds every single month. There is something to do at the library almost every single day that we are open, which is Monday through Saturday. We hosted 600 programs last year, and that's for kids, teens, and adults. And we had 44 offsite programs, including our very popular Eclipse Picnic, which was held at Memorial Park with over 600 participants. We also partnered with 15 different community organizations. As of December 31st, 2024, 11,304 residents, or 42% of Williamsport, has a library card. We think that's really fantastic, and it shows how important library service is to the people of this community. We had over 100,000 visits last year. So I hope that many of you are library card holders and users of the James V. Brown Library. If you're not, I'd be happy to give you my information so that you can have a tour with me. Our facility is not your grandmother's library, I can tell you that. We have something for everyone. And looking ahead, some of the programs for this year, We're going to host a resource fair for adults in crisis. With a lot of local organizations. Right now, we have 10 local organizations that want to come and hold a resource fair with us on February 25th from 9 to 3. We're also partnering with the library system to let kids see live shows at the CTL when they do the Lion King Kids. So we're really excited about that. It's a great way for kids to experience the arts, and it doesn't cost parents or caregivers anything. And we are also doing something brand new this year. We're hosting a free family fun day at New Trail Brewing on May 17th from 12 to 6 with lots of activities, trivia, book bingo, and crafts, and a live band. So we're really excited about what's going on at the library. Like I said, there are so many things in our community, and the library is really proud to be one of the things that keeps Williamsport vibrant. So are there any questions from the council, or are there any programs or services that you want to know if we offer?
Something that I would like you to expand upon. I have a little bit of a cheat sheet here.
Okay.
That I got some inside information about.
Yes, you
Um,
did.
The library offers passport renewals.
Oh, yes.
And that's also a great service for the community as well.
Sure.
So if you want to talk a little bit about that.
Yes, so we offer passport services Monday through Saturday. There are certain hours that we have them, so I don't want to give all the hours. If you go to jvbrown.edu, there's a whole section on our page all about passport services. One of our most popular passport services is passports for those under the age of 18, because you have to have both parents in the room when you're doing a passport. And isn't that so challenging when the little ones are in school and the parents are at work and the pathonetary's office has limited hours? So it's really wonderful that the library is a place where you can come and get your passport. We're really proud of our acceptance rate. Our passport agents are top notch, and they make sure that people who are getting their passport, they're diligent about checking to make sure that everything is just right, which if you've gotten a passport or renewal recently, you know that it can be a little bit of a challenge sometimes. So that's one of the things we're really proud of. And if you are getting a renewal, our agents will renew or review your renewal information for no cost. So obviously, if you got pictures, there would be a cost, but we will review your renewal for no cost, which is really a fantastic service, especially if you've got something planned. I will say that one of the things that we hear most often is that people are really grateful that when they come in for passports for littles, that we're not shushing people. We're not that kind of library. So if you haven't been in, like I said, please do come. We're not like what you probably may be thinking of.
I've renewed my passport and my 5 and my 7-year-old's passport at the library, and gotten passports for my 4-year-olds over the last couple of years, and that is truly a remarkable service that you offer. I would mention that it is it's heavily utilized, which surprised me.
Oh, yes.
When we went in, there's a lot of people who take advantage of it, which is fantastic. We also have several overdue books right now.
Well, I'm not here to collect them. Don't you worry about it.
But the fact that you no longer charge fines is also a fantastic thing.
It really is.
Children's library. That said, no, it's an incredible family resource, and the children's library in particular. I've taken friends of mine who aren't from the city there, if they're in town on a rainy day, and the kids can run around and play, and it's a huge just an incredible service that provides to the community. I think we all really appreciate it, but I didn't appreciate the library anywhere near enough until I had children, and it's a big deal. Thank you.
Yeah, I'll second that. My whole family got our passports done at the library, and it was great. Yeah, it was very seamless.
Good.
It's just thank you for everything that you do over there. We
Right.
really appreciate it.
Mhm.
And can we just confirm that Liz's books are not overdue?
Well, we certainly can't do that right now, but we
Okay.
do have automatic renewals turned on. So as long as nobody is waiting for that item, she might have it automatically renewed for her and her family, and she's all good. We just want our stuff back eventually.
And the sips and stories at New Trail, you said that's something you're kind of branching out. That's something new.
Yeah, so that's actually a brand new event. We're partnering with the Friends of the James B. Brown Library to bring that to the community completely for free. The Friends are sponsoring it. And what it's going to be, it's completely free for anyone who's coming. So we're going to have, like I said, events for, if you've been at there recently, they have that little place to the side, that little offshoot. I forget what they call it though. Maybe
The
beer garden, thank you. And there won't be any alcohol in that space. So you can of course purchase it in the other side, but on that side, that's where we'll have all the games and the trivia. And the band will be outside, weather permitting. So that's going to be a brand new way for us to get people in the community that are not library users, because we figured if they're not coming to us, what a great way to meet them where they are on a Saturday afternoon, because we've all been to New Trail and seen that it is bustling on a Saturday afternoon. So let's get over there.
And what kind of trivia are we talking about?
So if you've done a trivia with Chase Smith, he's going to do the trivia, and we've let it up to his infinite wisdom to pick. But I have a sneaky suspicion it'll be book related.
So trivia with Chase Smith trivia.
Yes.
Okay.
Mhm.
Great.
So obviously we've just spent the last 15 minutes or so discussing how much, not 15, 5, discussing how much the library supports our community. What can the community do to support the library?
Oh, that's a really fantastic question. I would say one of the ways that we would ask for people to support the library is to get a library card. And it is completely free. People's tax dollars already pay for library service. We would love that, because that is a metric that we show the county commissioners every year when we go to them and we talk about their appropriation to libraries, the Lycoming County Library System. The other way I would say is, if they're able, of course, they can make a donation to the library at jvbrown.edu. But one of the other ways that they can support the library, which people may not know, is they can support the Friends of the James B. Brown Library. So the Friends have a bookstore on the 3rd floor of the Welsh Wing, and it's really fantastic place. All the books are extremely affordable, and the Friends are very generous to the library. As I mentioned, they're hosting this event that we're having at New Trail for the first time. So there's 3 different ways, and I would say the number one way is absolutely no cost, and it's for everyone in the household to get a library card.
Well, we thank you for being.
Eric, I do have a question.
Sure, Bonnie, go right ahead.
The question I have is, are you still doing a book dedication? I've done it once before where somebody passed away and we were able to have a book in the library that was dedicated to that person. Are you still doing that? We went
I
through
don't-
Auto Bookstore at that point.
I
This
don't
was
believe
about
we
several
do that
years.
any longer. We do still partner with autos in a lot of ways. I actually just sent John at Autos a whole list of books that we were waiting for. And I said, do you have any of these on your shelf that we could buy from you instead of getting them from a vendor, which has been taking a little bit of time right now. I'm sure that the shipping delays everywhere are not just affecting library service. So we work with autos a lot, but we're not currently doing that because the system changed its book policy. It's our materials policy. So we have to follow that policy. But if you are interested in doing an Own a Day, that is a fantastic way to remember someone. And that's our Own a Day program. And if you're interested in that, you could always reach out to me and I'd be happy to tell you more about it, or go to our website, jvbrown.edu.
Thank you.
One thing, Eric.
Go right ahead, Randy.
There really is a plethora of things you can do at the library, and one of them I get involved with. It's not every week or every month, but the SABRE group, the Society
yes.
for American Baseball Research, and it's been really fascinating. And we've had some excellent guests come in and share former baseball players, former major league players. It's really a delightful hour and a half that we have. And it's usually pretty packed. So I'm grateful that that's there as well as everything else.
Well, I'm glad to hear it. The next SABR meeting is actually coming up on February 1st.
Right.
And as you said, it does get full, so we do require registration. But yeah, it is so well attended and it starts at 11, I think.
Yeah.
So it's fantastic.
It's great.
We thank you for being here and enlightening us on what the library does. Also, congratulations on the 15th anniversary of the Welsh Wing.
Yes, thank you.
So we welcome you back anytime to share more.
Great. Thank you so much for your time tonight.
Absolutely. Thank you. All right, we're going to jump down to item number 11, Mrs. Frank.
Resolution of the City of Williamsport to adopt initiatives to be recognized as a Pennsylvania Audubon Council, Birdtown, Pennsylvania, Birdtown.
Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Valerie.
Good evening, members of council. I'm excited to bring forward an initiative for your consideration that's positive and exciting. Birdtown, Pennsylvania works in partnership with local municipalities and like-minded organizations to promote community-based conservation actions to create healthier, more sustainable environments for birds, wildlife, and people. I'm actually excited to introduce to you tonight Bruce Buckle, who I will refer to as Mr. Buckle for the rest of my life because he was my 11th grade social studies teacher. He's the president of the Lycoming Audubon Society and is very passionate about bringing this to Williamsport. So he's going to take just a few minutes to give you an overview.
Thank you. I am a city resident as well. So thank you for considering this resolution. We appreciate your interest in this initiative. Just want to say a few words about Birdtown. It's an independent organization that is supported by the Pennsylvania Audubon Council, as Val mentioned. The Pennsylvania Audubon Council is a network of all the Audubon chapters in the state of Pennsylvania. So it's a statewide group representing all the Audubon chapters. Lycoming Audubon is one of the healthiest chapters actually in that network. The advantage of this for the city is it gives us statewide recognition as a municipality that's committed to conservation-minded actions within the municipality. They don't have to all be city-led. They can also be Audubon activities or school district activities or so on and so forth. But it promotes a conservation ethic, healthier environment within the boundaries of the municipality. There are 73 bird towns in Pennsylvania. 57 of them are in the southeast region of the state. That's really where the focus has been. There are 10 out in the Pittsburgh area, 5 in the Harrisburg area, and if you're doing the math quickly, there's 1 left, and that's Wellsboro. So if Williamsport became a bird town, that would be a pretty significant expansion of the program in the north central part of the state. Heidi Shiver is the actual director of the organization. As I said, it's an independent organization. I'm going to pass out a brochure to you. This is a.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Our Audubon chapter already does a lot of what Birdtown promotes: education, conservation, community. That's kind of a breakdown of what we do. I'll give you a couple examples. We've been partnering with Carl Bauer at Ways Garden for the last several years and have spent probably close to $1,500 there to purchase native plants, shrubs, trees, and lots of volunteer work to install them over at Ways Garden. There's also signage there, if you've ever walked through there, that identifies the native plants that we're planting there. As you can see there, there's a little brochure from Birdtown that emphasizes the importance of native, excuse me, of native plants to wildlife. We have regular bird walks on the River Walk. We make really good use of that. We hold an event there to celebrate Earth Day every year. So we're already active within the city. The steps for the city to become a bird town, the first step would be for you to adopt the resolution that is presented for you tonight. Then the second step would be to establish a bird town committee that would have some municipal representation, but not exclusively municipal representation. It could also include community members. And that bird town committee would be charged with identifying actions the city could take, or that the community could take, really, to advance the goals of promoting conservation, better bird habitat, and better habitat for people and wildlife. I mean, the city's already doing some of this. The pollinator garden that's proposed over at Young's Woods is an example of that. That's my kind of end of town. So it's nice to see that improvement in that park. So there will be completing the bird town application, would be to establish a committee and then complete the bird town application would be the next steps in the process. The only ongoing requirement then for bird town is to submit an annual report, which chronicles, I guess, the actions that the city has taken to promote conservation within the community. The program does have different certification levels: green, bronze, silver, and gold, depending on how aggressive the city is or the community is in taking actions that promote conservation. But there's no requirements to meet those certification levels. You can stay at the green level forever if you so chose, and there's no time frame involved to reach those. I mean, obviously, if the city wants to move forward with this, we would like to support efforts to, take action. So, but those are the main steps. So that's it in a nutshell. I don't want to take up too much of your time, but I certainly would entertain any questions you might have.
Sure. This did not go to committee, but it was brought up in finance. Anyone on council have any questions?
I think the only question that I would have, Bruce, and this kind of came out of the finance committee is, it doesn't sound as though there's really any economic obligation on the part of the city, aside from asking for more or less a time commitment to commit some of these, to take care of some of these items. On the part of the administration, Valerie, I guess you're the one answering for Mr. Buckle. The administration is willing to commit the time and provide the people for the committee that are needed to make this effort go forward.
Yes, and we have spoken to the mayor about that, and he is in favor of us doing so. And one of the things that I mentioned to Mr. Buckle when we met was recently when we did the application for Young's Woods Park, DCNR, who has been really supportive of the mayor's initiative to revitalize parks, has requirements for sustainable features in their grant applications. And at the time, Bill Scott and I deferred to the expertise of the firm doing the architecture and engineering for the project. So Bruce and I discussed the beautiful partnership that could exist in bringing them into those conversations and helping the city to accomplish that. So we would really look at it as a partnership where they could bring something to the table to help us continue to
They
meet
meaning
those needs.
Audubon, correct? In this context.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure if you meant the firm doing the design work.
Yeah.
So, okay.
Yeah.
No, I think that sounds excellent. Bruce, for your part, I would hope that Audubon recognizes that administrations change. And the
Yes.
goals of said administrations also have been known to change. And consequently, that Audubon is willing to step up and keep Williamsport on task if we commit to an effort like this, because it won't the push won't necessarily come from the administration, depending on who
Right.
leads the city.
I mean, I think we're committed to this. I mean, the other thing is a program like this may bring resources into the city. I'll give you a simple example. It's outside of the city, but we have applied for a pretty substantial grant from Audubon National to help promote or actually control invasive species over at Robert Porter Allen Natural Area over in Sylvan Dell. We had a grant for $7,500 to do that, and we're trying to amplify that. So, potentially this could enable us to bring resources to the city as well. So,
Yeah, I think to me, it seems like an excellent opportunity and something that we can add to our roster with no economic, input and no, a relatively low time input on the part of the city. And the fact that we have an organization that's willing to partner with us to make this happen seems to me, what the projects most likely to fail, in my experience, are initiatives brought by the city without a community backing necessarily where we're hoping to generate it. And if the community brings something to us, it has always generally seemed to me foolish to turn it down, because that's someone reaching out to you and wanting to partner, and that's a really important thing to foster. So I will be supporting this, but happy to help in any way that I can, including planting more of these native plants now. With the caveat that administrations change, and be aware that it may be that we may have to wrestle moving forward with an administration that is less open to projects like this and figure out ways to sort of modify. But I think it's a really neat program. Okay.
Being the gateway of the Pennsylvania wilds, it makes perfect sense that this is an initiative that we take up. So, Mr. Buckle, I thank you very much for bringing this
Thank
forward
you. I
to us.
appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Mrs. Frank?
Mr. Allison,
Yes.
Mr. Mackey,
Yes.
Mrs. Katz,
Yes.
Ms. Mealy,
Yes.
Mr. Bider.
Yes, motion passes 5-0. We'll go back up to our regular order, number 6,
For the appointments.
for the appointments. Yes.
There's one Veterans Memorial Park. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Mayor.
Oh, no, go ahead, Ms. Frank. I'm sorry.
I was just going to say that Veterans Memorial Park Committee and the RVTA Board, and you can go ahead.
Yep. Good evening, Vice President Bider, members of council administration. I'm assuming we're doing one at a time, correct? We do the Veterans Park first, or maybe both together. You have Rachel Potter, who is agreed to be reappointed to a 5-year term for our Veterans Park Committee. As we know, that commission does a great job up at Veterans Park. All the volunteers up there, as we've talked about over the years, are just really fantastic. And of course, we're appreciative that she's agreed to continue to volunteer her time on the board, to continue to improve the park. And it already looks just really, really great. Of course, each year they do the Memorial Day service there and all the other things they do throughout the year. So a great park. So we're very appreciative that she's continuing to serve. And then the RVTA board, Chuck Cruz to be reappointed. Talked to Noah Bauer, and he said the board is doing really well. The members of the board, and he was supportive of Chuck's reappointment. And so again, just appreciative to Chuck also that he has agreed to continue to serve on the RVTA board. So to both of them, I just appreciate their willingness to continue to serve in this capacity. And I'll turn it back over to you, Vice President Bider.
Thank you very much, Mayor. If I could real quick, just get a motion on this.
So move. Second.
Thank you. Mayor, what you said is wonderful. The Veterans Park is a great asset for the community and a great way to honor our veterans here locally. And it's good to see that the RVTA board has members that are willing to stay on after their initial term was up and are serving that authority well.
Yeah, and if I could just add one thing, I'm sorry. The RVTA board will have a position coming open. So if any members of council are aware of anyone looking to serve, obviously let us know.
Mrs. Frank?
Mr. Allison.
Yes.
Mr. Mackey,
Yes.
Mrs. Katz,
Yes.
Ms. Mealy,
Yes.
Mr. Bider.
Yes, motion passes 5-0. Thank you, Mayor. We'll move on to item number
Thank you.
7.
Resolution authorizing the engagement of Eckerd, Siemens, Sharon, and Malott LLC for legal services.
Mr. White?
Motion.
So move.
Good evening, Vice President Bider, members of council. You have before you a resolution to engage Eckerd Siemens as legal counsel. This is for the FTA demand that was made upon the city a few weeks ago. This is for representation in that matter relative to working with the FTA.
This
Now,
did not go to any committee, but I think we've discussed this with you and some of us individually and so on, so. We're ready to take the vote on this one?
Mr. Allison,
Yes.
Mr. Mackey,
Yes.
Mrs. Katz,
Yes.
Ms. Mealy,
Yes.
Mr. Bider.
Yes, motion passes 5-0. We'll move to item number 8.
Resolution authorizing payment of attorney's fees in connection with Center for Independent Living Federal Court ADA case, subject to finalization of appropriate release agreement.
So move.
Second.
Second, sorry.
It's okay. Mr. White?
Good evening again. So this one is for, as the city is, as everyone's aware, we do have a consent decree for ADA matters that has been live since about 2020. There are legal fees associated with that for the representation of the plaintiffs as far as compliance with the consent decree. And so the attorneys have made a demand on the city for $41,397, and that was for legal fees that were accrued from 2021 through the present day today. That's been compromised to $24,326 total. We do have this resolution is set up that it's subject to the finalization of an appropriate release agreement. I did just get that in final form and approval from them within the last 2 hours. So that is going to be in place as soon as this money is authorized by this resolution, assuming that it is. And I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
Are there any questions from members of council? Randy?
And going forward, is there going to be a communication as far as what's going on?
Yeah, so what we're doing is, as part of the agreement that we're entering into to resolve the fee, we are including some language in that agreement that does require some notice to the city as far as whether or not new attorneys' fees that are going to be sought to be collected upon are going to be accrued. So we are building in some of that, and we're also we also selected a to use the consent decree has a dispute resolution process in it already. And we've agreed with the attorneys for the plaintiffs here that that dispute resolution process will also be used for any future fee dispute. So if there is a dispute in the future about future fees, we would have available to us the consent decrees, mediation provisions and things like that, which is going to be helpful.
Yes, thank you.
There's no further questions. Mrs. Frank?
Mr. Allison.
Yes.
Mr. Mackey,
Yes.
Mrs. Katz,
Yes.
Ms. Mealy,
Yes.
Mr. Bider.
Yes, motion passes 5-0. Thank you very much, Mr. White.
Thank you.
We'll move on to item number 9.
Resolution authorizing an agreement between the Williamsport Bureau of Fire and MES.
Can I have a motion?
So move.
Second.
Thank you, Bonnie. Chief Unks, welcome.
Good evening. How is everybody doing?
Good.
Good. Before you is a resolution between the City of Williamsport Bureau of Fire and Glick fire apparatus. It's for tool mounting on the 2 new engines, engine 1 and engine 2.1. Tool mounting is usually not included in the price of the apparatus by Pierce because most departments choose to have this performed by a
That is item number 10.
Thank you. Sorry.
That's okay.
Okay, MES. So this is for the purchase of 10 SCBA with cylinders, 10 face pieces, and 10 spare cylinders. Our SCBA complement is either nearing the end of its end of use or has seen more harsh use than others. The plan is to purchase this group of SCBA through capital projects and proceeds from the sale of the 2016 KME, the old engine one. In the coming months, we'll be utilizing CDBG money funds to put out an RFP for 15 air packs with cylinders, 15 face pieces, and 15 spare cylinders. These 25 SCBA, along with 10 of the best SCBA we currently have in service, will bring our complement back to 35 SCBAs. The total amount for the 10 SCBAs that we're currently looking to purchase is $93,500. Again, this purchase will come from capital projects and proceeds from the sale of the 2016 KME. MES is a CoStarz vendor, and the resolution was reviewed by Solicitor White and discussed in the Finance Committee meeting.
Thank you very much, Chief Unks. This was discussed in finance. Liz, if you'd like to expand on anything.
So discussed in finance. And obviously, I mean, the primary discussion in finance related to the cost of the packs and the amount that we currently have in the capital projects budget, which is insufficient to replace the number of packs that we're looking to replace we maintain a complement of 35, ideally in good working order, and they're costing now about $9,000 to completely outfit one. And they last, we're hoping 15 years, I think.
About 15 to 20 years.
So we need a rate of effectively 2.5 replacements annually to replace the full complement in a timely fashion. And we currently have $6,000 a year budgeted, when the true cost of that is more like 20 to 25. So we will address that, I believe, in this upcoming year's capital projects budget. But I think that was the bulk of the discussion. No one disagrees with the idea that the fire department should have functioning equipment, especially equipment as vital as this. Just trying to make sure that we have the money in place for it next time. How common has it been, Valerie, or can anyone speak to how common it's been to purchase this equipment through community development? Okay.
In this specific instance, we're purchasing this through community and economic development because we had a substantial amendment before you a few meetings ago where we had old projects that for some reason didn't come to completion. So we had funds remaining in them from years that needed to be moved forward so that we didn't lose that money with HUD. And fortunately, fire apparatus is an eligible expense of community development block grant funding. So we thought that that would be a great way to utilize those funds and to get them through this specific renewal.
Good. But as a rule, it hasn't been common for us to budget something like that out of community.
No.
I didn't recollect that it had, but I wanted to.
It's
confirm that
eligible,
this
but
was-
not common.
Right, okay,
And we did back in the 90s.
yeah.
That was just for, I believe, that was for fire headquarters, the apparatus at fire headquarters and up at Company 3
Okay.
when that was open, but
Got it.
Company 4 didn't qualify, so.
Makes sense.
Yeah, okay. Anyway, I'm just curious whether it's something that we should be looking to do again in the future, as in budgeting less, or whether that's something that is, I mean, we obviously have a fair amount of use for our dwindling HUD funds, so. And, but yeah, thank you. That's all that I have there.
Anything else to add, Mr. Allison?
No.
Mrs. Frank on the vote then?
Mr. Allison,
Yes.
Mr. Mackey,
Yes.
Mrs. Katz,
Yes.
Ms. Mealy,
Yes.
Mr. Bider.
Yes, motion passes 5-0. We'll move to item number 10.
Resolution authorizing an agreement between Williamsport Bureau of Fire and Glick Fire Equipment.
Can I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you very much. Chief Unks?
Okay. So again, this is the resolution before you is between the WBF and Glick fire apparatus. It's for tool mounting for the new engines. Tool mounting is usually not included in the price of the apparatus by Pierce because Most departments choose to have this performed by a third-party company. For the tower, we used FMI out in Ohio because they're able to customize the tool mounting process, and they're able to fit 10 pounds of material in a 5-pound bag. For this, or I'm sorry, for the engines, we determined that we could get away with minimizing the amount of customization. So that cost amounts to, for both engines, $48,720.01. This will come out of the proceeds from the sale of the 2016 KME, the old engine one. Glick is a CoStar's vendor, and the resolution was reviewed by Solicitor White and discussed at the Finance Committee meeting.
It was. Liz, do you have anything that you'd like to add?
Nothing in particular. Actually, the only question I had, and I don't know that you managed to clarify it with Jamie, was exactly what the set aside process from the sale proceeds looked like budgetarily. I don't think, I am presuming that the money is there somewhere, so I don't see an issue with passing this item, but I am curious what that looked like in our budget packet, whether it was there, where the proceeds showed up and where the expenditure showed up. That's all. But I can follow up on that with Jamie if you didn't.
I know a little bit about it. We sold the truck for, I believe it was $350,000. And I believe 102,000 went into the general fund, and the remainder would cover items like the SCBA and the tool mounting.
Okay.
And a few other things that we had.
Got it. Okay. All right. Thanks, Sam. Yeah, aside from that, obviously it doesn't do us a whole lot of good to have new fire trucks if they don't have mounted tools. So see no reason not to move forward with this.
Anything else anyone would like to add? Mrs. Frank?
Mr. Allison.
Yes.
Mr. Mackey.
Yes.
Mrs. Katz.
Yes.
Ms. Mealy.
Yes.
Mr. Bider.
Yes, motion passes 5-0. We'll move to item number 12.
Thank you.
Resolution authorizing an exchange server migration from Global Data Consultants LLC.
Can I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Mr. Black?
Good evening, everyone. Both of these resolutions kind of go together because you can't really use one without the other. Our current email server reached end of life 3.5 years ago. We can't get any more updates to it. Microsoft is pushing everybody to go to their cloud service. We could go to another on-premise service. It would cost us approximately $40,000 for the first year. And then there's no guarantee that the year after we wouldn't have to go to this service at that point. So I prefer the on-prem to the cloud only because I don't like giving up control of things. It's one of my bad habits. Anyhow, GDC is a company we've used for a number of different projects. I trust them implicitly with our stuff. They set our current network environment or current server environment up, and have helped us out on a couple other smaller things. They are on a CoStar's contract. Their prices come in at $10,855. The next closest contract or bid that I got, not bid, but pricing I got was $22,850. And with them being on CoStar's, it makes it easy. It'll probably be about a 6-week process to move everything from our current server to the cloud. This, and going on to the second item, which is the licensing. It's from Microsoft. It's the same no matter where you go. So, and that's at a cost of, and while the server migration will come out of the IT budget, and the cost for the software or the licensing is $2,353.45 per month. And that'll also come out of the IT software budget. This would give us 165 just email accounts with 10 more that are the full licenses, which has Teams on it. So I know our department heads want that.
All right. This did not go to a committee, but is there anybody that has any questions? Liz Mealy.
Yeah, just trying to wrap my head around this. So this actually isn't Microsoft Office in the sense of Word, Excel.
Only 10 copies of it.
Oh, so 10, the Teams is, it includes like the full
With the
package.
Teams, I
Okay.
can't get just email and Teams.
Okay,
If I want to get Teams, I have to get
the suite.
Word, Excel, Access,
Got
PowerPoint.
it. And we use Teams more than,
We
like
get a lot
Zoom
of
or something
requests
like
for
that?
it.
Okay. All right, and we have 165 people in the city with
Email
through
addresses.
the city, yeah? Okay.
Well, the mayor's conference room.
Okay.
Is one.
Has
you
an
know,
email address.
Has an email address. There's 155 employees.
Okay.
Each has an email address because of payroll.
Right, okay, got it.
And there's about 10 others in
Yeah.
there that are just specialty things.
Okay. And we pay for each of those email addresses specifically, basically as a licensing proposition on an annual basis.
Currently, no.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering, but we will, okay. Cause I have one and I don't use it. I
Yeah,
guess
You
was
do.
my
Each of the
thought.
council members have one.
Yeah,
It just makes communication that much easier.
right.
I'm going with the month-to-month version
Uh-huh.
as opposed to the yearly version. There's no difference price-wise. But if I go to the yearly licensing on the email clients, I can add to, but I can't take from.
Gotcha.
Okay,
So on a month-to-month basis, the longest we might not be able to adjust anything going downward is, 30, 31 days.
got it. Okay. Thanks, Chris. And then the migration cost. So
Is,
basically, we're paying about $30,000 a year for Microsoft Office. We get the server space and everything like that is included in that.
yes, we pay a
Cost.
one-time migration cost.
Okay, so the 10,000 is a one-time thing. And
Yes.
and then it's about $30,000 a year after that for
Correct,
Microsoft licensing.
correct.
Okay, all right, got it. Thank you. And that was in which, but out of the IT technology budget, which we did budget in
Yes,
2025.
I
for all
put
this
monies
stuff.
in for this
Okay,
project.
fantastic. Thanks, Chris.
Any other questions? Mrs. Frank?
Mr. Allison,
Yes.
Mr. Mackey,
Yes.
Mrs. Katz,
Yes.
Ms. Mealy,
Yes,
Mr. Bider.
Yes, motion passes 5-0. We'll move to item number 13.
Resolution authorizing the purchase of Microsoft 365 licensing from Global Data Consultants LLC.
Can I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Thank you very much. Mr. Black, if you'd like to elaborate a little bit more.
Same as the last conversation. They go hand in hand.
Absolutely. Anybody have any questions about the item number 13? Seeing and hearing none. Mrs. Frank?
Mr. Allison,
Yes.
Mr. Mackey,
Yes.
Mrs. Katz,
Yeah, yes.
Ms. Mealy,
yes.
Mr. Bider.
Yes, motion passes 5-0.
Thank
Mr.
you.
Black, thank you very much. I will move to item number 14. Figured
You
you were
didn't
gonna,
split it. Yeah, you'd abstain on one.
Okay.
Or you don't have to, like, if we've got 4 votes, then you're fine,
Yeah.
but yeah.
I'll just keep it as
Okay.
one.
Got
Mhm.
But then, we'll move to item number 14 then, certificate of appropriateness for James Haywood at 1057 West 4th Street, James Haywood at 967 West 4th Street, and then Herdick House, Mealy Elion, 407 West 4th Street.
So moved.
Thank you very much. I would assume that we're going to have one of our members of council abstain.
Yes, that is my roof right there.
Does anybody have any questions about the certificate of appropriateness? Mrs. Frank?
Mr. Allison,
Yes.
Mr. Mackey,
Yes.
Mrs. Katz,
Yes.
Ms. Mealy,
Yes.
abstain.
Abstain.
Abstain, oh my God. Abstain, sorry.
Mr. Bider.
Yes, motion passes 4-0 with one abstention. And we'll go on down to accept for filing. We have the WMWA and WMSA meeting minutes from November and December 24th. Hard meeting minutes from 7/21 of 25. Should be 24, I'm assuming. And the controller report from November 24th. Do I have a motion?
So move.
Mrs. Frank?
Mr. Allison,
Yes.
Mr. Mackey,
Yes.
Mrs. Katz,
Yes.
Ms. Mealy,
Yes.
Mr. Bider.
Yes, motion passes 5-0. Item number 16, announcements. The next regularly scheduled city council meeting will be held Thursday, February 13th, 2025 at 7 PM in this location, Trade Transit 2 at 144 West 3rd Street, 3rd floor. Upcoming meetings, we've got Monday, February 3rd at 12 PM, Planning Commission. Tuesday, February 11th at 11:30, Public Safety. At 1 PM, the Finance Committee meets. At 2:30 PM, Public Works. Wednesday, February 12th, 9 AM, ERC. And Thursday, February 13th at 7 PM, our city council meeting. Any comments from members of city council this evening? Any comments from the administration? And I believe we've got some folks here from the members of the public that would like to make a comment this evening. You'll have 3 minutes if you just don't mind stating your name and address for the public record.
Dawn Aston, you want my home address?
Please.
192 Poplar Avenue, Allenwood, Pennsylvania.
Dina Straub, 725 First Ave, Williamsport.
Thank you.
Good evening, Vice President Bider, members of the Williamsport City Council. My name is Dawn Aston and this is Dina Straub. We are representatives of the Victorian Christmas Committee, an arm of Preservation Williamsport, who recently celebrated our committee's 25th anniversary year of showcasing Williamsport's rich and beautiful architectural heritage by organizing open home tours, businesses, churches, an artisan market, and horse-drawn carriage rides during the holiday season, traditionally the week before Thanksgiving. Each year, this event lures 1,500 to 2,200 visitors to Williamsport to tour the earmarked homes and churches, shop our local businesses, eat in our restaurants, and participate in all the festive events Victorian Christmas and the city of Williamsport has to offer. Each year, our event grows, and with it, the visitation of local residents, surrounding county residents, and several visitors from other states. In years past, we've maintained a warm partnership and connection with the city of Williamsport and coordinated events that worked cohesively, but were careful not to overlap with collaborative efforts in advertising, leaving nothing out so our guests would have a memorable event and wish to return. This past year, there were a few glitches between the city's expectations as well as ours. We respectfully ask the members of this council to advocate on our behalf for open communication with the city and its administration. Full cohesive effort on both parts would be appreciated to enable us to work together, avoiding conflicting or overlapping events. We look forward to a reestablished cooperation to bring support and public recognition to Williamsport's historic treasures and ongoing preservation of our structures, homes, and parks. We openly invite you to attend as our guest. Our planning meetings held the third Wednesday of each month at 5:30 in the boardroom or the library room at the downtown Holiday Inn. However, I will warn you, our meetings are not as organized as council meetings tonight. Thank you so much for your kind attention to our plea. Thank you for your service to the city of Williamsport. You have a difficult job and you all do it so well.
Thank you very much. I don't see anybody here from the news media, so I'm going to assume they have no comments this evening. Item number 17, I'll take a motion for adjournment.
So move.
All in favor? Aye. Meeting adjourned.